Alright, let's take a look at the mixing, and compared to a track that contains a lot of recordings and audio and guitars and stuff, we produced all the elements here and we already took care of a great deal of disturbing frequencies. We cut a lot of lows on those elements here with those arpeggios and pads. We made sure we are clean in the bottom frequencies and leave room for our bass and kicks. But let's quickly go through and take a look at the gain stages and make sure nothing pops out really loud here. So let's take a look at, for example, this drop part here, because usually in mixing you start with your most important or loudest parts of the track and then you adjust the most important elements in those parts and instruments, and then you work your way through the less important parts of your track. I kind of want to take down this clap mind a bit further, so I'm going down to -18. Also, I want to take down this cymbal here, it's a bit loud. Let's actually take a look at the sample again. It's not something we should do in the mixing stage, but I kind of want to play around with the sustain here. Maybe that helps. Well, let's keep it a bit higher. And just bring it down by 3 decibels or something. We can still bring down the clap mind a bit further, -19.7. Now we also have this zzz effect, and I kind of had a feeling that one was a bit loud always. So I'm bringing that down as well here. Let's play it here. Let's go down to -30. 31. Yeah, I think that's enough. And take a look at the white noise here. It can be a bit less. Let's go down to -13. And while we're at it, we also take down our kick. It's still the loudest element, and our mastering chain later will take care of a lot of that. So let's bring it down. -14. Could also think of taking up the bass a bit further. Maybe pick the bass and the click bass and just go up like 1 decibel and see how that sounds. Yeah, I think that's okay. And now let's take a look at the claps here again. And maybe we take down this clap number 6 slightly to -11. Okay, let's listen to 3.3 here. Yeah, this HH long, I want to bring it down to -22 maybe. It's just as noticeable if you play it like 3 decibels quieter. Okay, what else was important? Let's go to close the drums group and take a look at the pad bass again here. I think that one could be a bit more into the back, so let's take it to -23. Okay, let's bring it back to 22. And while we listen to it, the arpeggio here in the beginning also sounds a bit too loud. So we kind of already had this one adjusted nicely. So right here, I'm bringing down the automation to -2, just like before. And this one here probably as well. That's one too much. -2.12. Okay, I just forgot one transition earlier in the transition stage, or I didn't do it too nicely here. This one should go down a bit further. Like really make it fall down here and not interfere in this break here. But I think mixing wise, this should be more or less what's going on. Of course, we could emphasize a bit more on a couple of those effects. It's kind of a creative mixing issue. So we have this oog effect here, and we can put that a bit louder. So I'm going to -30. But let's compare it to a part where other stuff isn't that prominent playing. Well, maybe that's a bit too much. Let's go to 33. I also kind of like this woot effect. Where is that one? 40. I think that one lies quite nicely in there, so let's not worry too much about it. And so let's take a final look at the drums group. This is also a creative mixing issue. Like I kind of want to make those drums sound a bit less dry. I'm going onto the group, and what I'm going to do is maybe a bit uncommon, but I'm going to put on a reverb, a tiny bit of reverb onto this drums group. High verb, this one. It's a room patch, and let's drag this on here. And let's see, the size of our room should be 1.11 milliseconds. 1000, 1.11. Quality up to high, and bring down dry wet here to all the way, and let's mix it in here and see what it sounds like. I want to mix it in 4.8%. And that's the difference. See, it's so much more dry and it's getting so much more roomy with the reverb on top. Let's listen to the difference here. So let's put in this little effect here on our drums. Let's wrap up this mixing here and do the rest in the mastering, because we took so good care about all these elements before. We always, if we look at this, we cut the lows and we made sure we placed them into the panorama nicely and split it up in that case, and also put effects like tiny reverbs and bigger reverbs on those elements. Everything already sits nicely, so we don't have to lose so much time in the mixing stage. But if you're interested in learning more about mixing, we made a complete course on mixing, and in that one we're going through all the important issues surrounding the mixing stage. So summing up, we just went through this. We adjusted a couple of elements like the kick, the zzz, the white noise, the bass. We made that one a bit louder, and we also adjusted the off hi-hat, the claps, and a bit of the ride as well here. Then we took care a little bit of the arpeggios here in the beginning. This is our project right now before we enter the mastering stage.